Welcome home, family and fellow citizens of the African Order. I'm here with another video, and the topic I want to discuss with you today is called coordination. When I came up with this title, it made me think back to the movie Boomerang, where Eddie Murphy played an executive at a black-owned advertising company. He had this dinner party where he had met the father of one of his friends, who was played by John Witherspoon. He's no longer among us. May he rest in power. But John Witherspoon's character coming to the home, and Eddie Murphy was kind of filling his suit. And so now this gives him reason to, show off his design. So he pop open his jacket and he like, bam. Eddie Murphy was like, whoa, I'm digging this. So he said, but I didn't stop there. He said, show him the tie, the belt. And he said, you got to coordinate. You got to coordinate. And the coordination of all these different colors and patterns work together to give John Witherspoon's character the look and feel that he was looking for and was able to present to others. When I look at black people today and I look at our lack of success as a group, it made me think of the movie Boomerang and the coordination that it took to get the look and feel that John Witherspoon character wanted. We don't do anything that work off of each other. We don't have the inside lapel, work with the tie, work with the belt, the shoes, to achieve the goals and ambitions that our social movement should have attained. We're uncoordinated as a people. We work negative as a people, and that leaves us vulnerable. And this has just got to stop. I'm watching the news, and recently we had high winds come through the area. Tore down a couple of Amazon buildings. I think one was in Illinois, and tore down a business in Kentucky. It hit Kentucky the hardest. I think about 70 something people was killed, and they still missing like 100 more. And this was just wind. And as I've always said, whenever a natural disaster hit, the first thing that's impacted is your way of life. Schools can be destroyed, businesses lost, lives lost. You know, these things are devastating. And when you are a people who work in the negative, we don't prioritize, we don't work together. This will impact us more than anybody else. So when you look at what just wind can do and how exposed we are to the elements, when you walk down the street and you feel a breeze, Negroes should be praying that's all it is. And that should scare you. To be walking down the street and you're afraid of just a breeze. We're too great for that. I mean, I don't understand how this can be going on in 2021. But when you look at the vulnerabilities we have against a natural disaster, don't just stop there. What about the heat? What about rain? What about earthquake, fire? Wherever our black people reside, these elements can negatively impact us. We have got to change this. And these are just natural disasters that we have to prepare ourselves for. What about the unnatural disasters? When we are fighting racism, you got to consider the economic disasters. You got to consider the political, judicial, industrial disasters. All can be brought upon us just by a flip of a switch. Just by the changing of a person's mind can negatively impact more people than 10 natural disasters. Why are we isolating our fight to just one aspect of natural disaster when you are vulnerable, susceptible to many? Wouldn't it be nice if you could shelter yourself from the heat, the the rain, earthquakes, the fire, the wind, the economic, the political, industrial, judicial disasters. Wouldn't it be nice to be part of an organization that protects you against all these elements as opposed to just one at a time? That is what black organizations should be striving for. Coordinating our efforts against all threats. Here you have the Nation of Islam. They are here building communities out in the woods, basically saying we're going to start our society over. I'm sitting here looking at TV, and they have automotive companies coming out with brand new cars. These are brand new companies. These aren't General Motors and Chrysler and Ford, the ones that we grew up with. These are brand new companies. You got brand new automotive companies coming out. They're not building their plants out in the woods. They're not building cars back that was first designed 200 years ago. Well, actually 100 years. Why are we having black organizations building communities out in the woods? Well, you basically got to start all over. You got to build homes with trees, and now you got to build roads and then build your own bridge. Why are you doing that? Because you're not organized. You're not coordinating your effort. We're not working together to achieve the goals and ambitions that we're looking for. Why are you going out in the woods to build homes when you already got homes that you live in right now? If black people were a coordinated people and worked together as a unit, we could control the community that we live in. We could create the political position that we need to use our tax dollars to positively impact our way of life. Because right now, because we're divided, they're sending our tax dollars overseas to liberate Afghanistan, to liberate anybody anybody overseas, Afghanistan, Iraq, Cuba, wherever else disaster hit or people are supposedly hurt. They send your tax dollars over there. But here in the United States, where black people are impacted the worst, we get nothing. That's because we're uncoordinated. And it's about when you have no coordination, you have no prioritization, and priority is key. I'm listening to Dr. Umar Johnson. He did this interview on The Breakfast Club a few years ago, and he was talking about how the guy was saying how it's not racist that black people always get high interest rate when they're going to apply for a mortgage. Dr. Umar disagreed with that. So do I. But he went on to explain that when they come to apply for a home loan, they already have a car on their credit report. So when it comes down to paying your house note or your car note, which one are you going to pay? You're going to pay that car note. So mortgage companies are less reluctant to loan to black people because their priority is off. You should have bought the home first, then purchased the car. Our vulnerability comes from us not having a coordinated effort, not organizing, not working together to strengthen us as a group. We invest in homes when we should be investing in ourselves. Well, we need to invest in our own schools, our own banks, our own businesses, our own hospitals. That way we can create the jobs and service the reoccurring needs of our people. Then that way we can own and control our way of life, so that we do go and apply for a mortgage, or we do go and apply for a car loan. We could be assured that the base, the foundation that we work for, is going to be there for the duration of the loan. When you working primarily for your oppressor and you go to apply for a mortgage, That's 30 years that you got to stay in this guy's employment, serving the needs of your own people and his. But soon as the needs of your oppressor is met, you've become obsolete now. If we prioritize our effort, coordinated it, so everything works together. We get hungry, we open up a business to serve that. We get sick, we open up a hospital to serve that. We need financing, we build our own banks to serve that. We need jobs, we create our own businesses to serve that. Whatever we need to invest in ourselves. That way, so as long as black people exist on this planet, we'll have a foundation to serve it, and nobody else can come in and tell us how we service our own people. But before I end this video, let me say this. If a big enough natural disaster struck, and as you've seen like in movies and stuff like that, a meteor is coming to hit the earth, what's going to be the priority of the people around us? You know, whether it's a natural disaster or a man-made disaster, people would be gathering up their history, their culture, their language, to just in case this natural disaster is worse than they thought, to preserve their way of life. So when they people come out on the other side of this, the continuation of their race, the lessons they've learned, will be able to continue after that. A government will protect its own interests. It'll gather up politicians, put them in safe havens, put communities over, because they want to protect their interests and their system of governing to preserve us after the disaster. Without coordination, Negroes would be the only people out here. We'll be gathering up cardboard and Sharpie pens to slave for those who did work together. We will have nothing to protect because we won't have nothing of our own. And what ways, what lessons will we have? Everything will be taught to us by our oppressors. So we got to do this for ourselves, and coordination is the key. Coordination is for the continuation of our nation. I'm going to end this video here. And if you like this message, please share it. And if you like this content, consider subscribing to this channel. And with this video, as with all my videos, it is for the complete liberation of my people. And I'll see you in my next message. Ashe.